Okay, so our next unit is going to be fractions, decimals, and percents, and we're going to start off by doing our video on introduction to fractions. So hopefully you might learn something from this. Some of you probably already know some of this. So let's talk about fractions, and remember, if you see something in red, it means write it down. A fraction shows equal parts of a whole. Fractions are less than 1, but they're greater than 0. So we're taking a whole number and we're cutting it down into equal parts. That's what a fraction is. They all have to be equal. Okay, a fraction has two parts. One of the parts is called the denominator. It tells us the parts the whole is broken into. So we take a whole unit and we break it into parts. It's also the bottom number in the fraction. So the way I remember that is denominator begins with a D, so does the word down. Denominator is down. The other part of a fraction is called the numerator. It's the parts I have out of the whole. So the denominator is how many pieces we cut that whole into. The numerator is how many of those I'm going to use, and it's the top number of a fraction. So if you see here, I have a number line. If you notice, everything is broken up into equal parts. You see how each section between each whole is the same amount? That's how it has to be on a number line. Everything has to be broken into equal parts. So I don't count 0, but from 0 to 1 is 1 unit. So I have 1 square. 0 to 2 is 2 units. So I have 1 square here, 1 square there. 1 whole, 2 wholes. From 0 to 3 is 3 whole units. So I need another whole or a unit. These reds represent my wholes. From 0 to 4 is 4 whole units. So I have another unit. And you just keep going. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that number line and only look between 0 and 1, because that's what a fraction is. It's less than 1, but greater than 0. So here's that piece of the number line. I just blew it up. I just made it a lot bigger. So we're not looking at the whole number line. We're only looking at this little section right here. So pretend like I took it under a magnifying glass and blew it up. So this is 1 whole unit. And what I want to do is I want to show where one of 3 equal pieces would be on this number line. So what I need to do is I need to cut this whole unit into 3 equal pieces. So to do that, you just draw lines down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that the best that I can, since we're doing it freehand. So there's 1 piece. Here's 2. So I know it's not perfect, but it's as close as I can get. So I have 3 pieces, and they look sort of even. I can maybe move this one over a little bit. Okay, so now I have 3 equal pieces. I only want 1 of those 3 equal pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and shade the first one in. And I'm doing this with the computer, so hopefully your shading is better than mine. Like, that's pretty bad. So hopefully you're shading it better than mine. So this is showing you 1 out of 3 equal pieces. So if I wanted to label that on this number line, what I would do is I'd come down from this line right here, and this spot on our number line is the first one out of the number 3. So I have 1 out of 3 equal pieces, or that is 1/3. The 1 is my numerator. It tells me how many I have. The 3 is my denominator. It's how many total pieces I have. The 3 is how many pieces you cut that whole into. Okay, so let's look at an example. We want to find 1/4 on the number line. Remember that this is a fraction, so 1/4 is less than the number 1, but it's greater than the number 0. So the place we're looking at in our number line is between 0 and 1. So we're going to look at our number line, and we're going to zoom in like we did before on the 0 and the 1, because remember, a fraction is less than 1, but more than 0. So we're talking about this space in here. We need to break the space into how many equal parts. If you said 4, you're right. The bottom number tells me how many equal parts I want to break this in. So go ahead and let's cut this up into 4 equal parts. As close to equal as you can get. And I apologize, mine's so sloppy. Hopefully yours is neater. So there's my 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to show on the number line where the first one is. So I'm going to go ahead and shade in this first part, hopefully, right here. Okay, and again, I hope yours is neater than mine. This looks like a kindergartner's doing it, but what are you going to do? So, where is this located on the number line? This is the first one, the first piece out of how many? Out of 4. So this is 1/4 on your number line. So if I asked you to show me where 1/4 would be on the number line, that's how you do it. You break up your whole into 4 equal pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you shade in the first one. So we needed to break the space into 4 equal parts. Okay? So in this problem, 1 is called the what? 1 is called the numerator. And it tells me how many parts I have. 4 is called the what? Yep, denominator. And it tells me what? What does that 4 tell me? It tells me how many pieces to cut my whole. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to see if you can find out where 1/6 is on the number line. So go ahead and work through that. Hit pause, and then when you're finished, hit play and see if it matches up with mine. Okay, so hopefully yours looks like mine. 1/6 is less than 1, but it's greater than 0. You have to break your whole unit into 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I want 1 out of the 6. 1 out of 6 is right here. So that's where 1/6 is. Okay, so we're going to take a quiz on this when we come into class. There is not going to be one on the computer, so you don't have to take a quiz on this. But when I see you in class, we'll have a quiz. All right, so I'll see you next time.